I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio in Davos. Really pleased that Michael Møller has stepped into my studio. Thanks for coming by.
My pleasure.
Director General of the United Nations in Geneva.
Yes.
Now tell me, when I arrived in Zurich, I walked past some fantastic billboards. Tell me about those, how they relate to the Sustainable Development Goals, and why you put them there.
We put them there. It's a campaign we started last year. It's called You Need to Know, to try and tell the story about the SDGs to as many people as possible. The duty-free shop in Geneva belongs to an owner that owns, I think, duty-free shops in 80 countries, and he's agreed to put them up in every single one of them.
Incredible.
And by that, we hope to touch between 2 and 3 billion people just through that meeting. And this is what we're about. We need to change the narrative. We need to make sure that people know that their roadmap for the future are the SDGs.
So what I love about the Sustainable Development Goals is that they're like the world's to-do list. Mm-hmm. They're the plan.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, no plan B because there's no planet B.
Correct.
You are doing something really interesting in your offices about an SDG Lab. Mm-hmm. Now tell me what that is.
Well, let me just tell you a little bit why we did it. Geneva is really the operational hub of the international system, not just of the UN, which is my business. Mm-hmm. It really is the place where the ecosystem of organizations, both within the UN system, in the civil society realm, in the business community, etc., come together at the technical level and have the wherewithal to implement all these goals much more than anywhere else. There's a cliche I use, it has become a cliche, that there's not a single human being on this planet that isn't touched every single day by something that comes out of Geneva, simply because of the density of actors that are there. So there was so much going on that we needed to find a way of catching all of these initiatives, because people have really caught on to these SDGs in a way that I've never seen before. So I created this SDG Lab, which was a very operational little unit that was tasked with catching all of these good stories, sharing them, making sure that we go out and capture the best practices in the implementation of them, share those, be an innovative hub, if you want, and a connector, getting people together who need to get together who normally wouldn't. And it's working pretty well. So we now have all sorts of people coming to us, governments, corporations, UN organizations, NGOs, academic institutions. It's quite amazing to see, and it's a source of hope and of optimism to the extent to which people have caught on to this and have put themselves on the same page like never before.
Tell me one of the examples that has come out of this SDG Lab that tells me the story of the network effect of people working together, coming together, and creating something.
Well, we have many examples, and one of the things we also put in place, precisely addressing your question, is conversations that we call So What? And we get actors from all walks of life together, and we pick 2 SDGs that on the surface don't look like they are, connected.
Connected, like?
So the first one we did was between gender and innovation. And we thought we'd have 50 people. We had 250 people in the room, really from everywhere, including some on the screen from Africa. And within about 30 seconds, everybody had made the connection between these 2 things in the conversation. And it was an incredibly rich conversation that showed that, without women, we're not going to get the degree of innovation that we need in order to get to where we need to go. And we're doing that regularly, and we're doing it in different organizations and on different subjects, etc. But we're also going beyond that. I mean, right now we are pushing very much the fact and the objective of showing impact on the ground. This is where it counts. We've talked a lot about the SDGs and negotiations, etc. We really need to act now. And so we are also helping in very operational terms. We are helping an African country right now who's pretty much at the bottom of the development scale, that they want to be the poster child of the SDGs, and we're very happy to help that. They're in the process of wiring 15,000 villages in their country, because they know that if these 15,000 villages get access to the internet, it will change their lives in terms of health, education, commerce, whatever. And we help them make the connections to the people that can help them do that. A very small practical example. But if we manage to do it and really show impact, then it will be very important.
Which goal do you worry about the most?
It's not so much the goal I worry about, because that's a prescription for solutions. I'm worrying about the climate. I think that we are nowhere even close to where we need to be on tackling the climate issues. It's very much the message that we're getting out of the meetings here today and the next few days. And if we don't get really serious globally and collectively about that, then all the other stuff really won't matter much, because we won't be around to do anything about it.
So do you think we will stay within the 1.5 degree?
But we are already beyond it. We have to come back, and we have to, I mean, we have the technology to do it. We have the means, we have the money. All we need is some political will and some push from civil society.
Tell me about the financing aspect and how you bring that into this, because as we know, it's going to take enormous investment in order to make the world we want in 2030.
As we've worked on these issues and through the lab over the past year, there are a couple of themes that are very clear that come to the surface, never mind who you talk to, and one of them is financing. The other one is whole of government. How do you make sure that the structures of government in every country are integrated in a completely different way so that they implement? But on the financing, it's obviously a huge challenge. It's quite clear that public money is not going to be able to pay for it. We need private money as well. We need to have a partnership in the financing of this. The figures are huge. You know, nobody really knows how much it is. I hear figures that range from $3 to $7 trillion a year. It's a lot of money, and we need to be innovative, and we need to be to figure out how we do it. I think the money is there, and most people do. It's just how do we trigger people's understanding that it's actually good business to invest in sustainable businesses, and I think that message is also coming through loud and clear more and more. When I partner with different businesses and I go and speak to them and to their clients, and mostly more and more I walk through open doors. People have gotten it. It's just a matter of finding the right way of doing it in practical terms. And there's all sorts of new financing mechanisms that are being invented, and we just need to do it. And it comes back to what we were talking about before, which is the issue of trust. And we need to do this well, the financing well. We need to show that we're actually able to implement these things that we have decided we want to do for the improvement of humankind, or for the well-being of everybody. That's how we're going to get trust back. If we can't prove that we're useful or effective, why would they trust us?
Thank you very much, Michael, for stopping by the Hub Culture
My pleasure.
studio here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.